What's your apology language? Welcome back to After Hour Happy Hour. We are your chaotic but cathartic co-host. I'm Vicky.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Jamila.
Welcome back to another episode. This one, we're going to talk about apology languages. If you're familiar with the more popular one, there's 5 love languages, but this one is the apology one, so how you like to give and receive apologies. We will also link the test down below if you want to know yours. They give you a percentage of what categories you are, and there are 5 categories total, just like love languages.
So the first one is called accept responsibility, and it's basically what it sounds like. You are able to admit when you're wrong and take responsibility for it.
And then the second one is expressing regret. Also what it sounds like. Say that you're sorry and like, oh, sorry, I know I did something wrong and I'm regretting it.
The third one is make restitution.
It's basically like, what can I do to repay you, kind of? Like, let me give you back something in return.
And then the next one after that is request forgiveness. So this one is exactly what it sounds like again. Say you're sorry and then you're like, oh, can you forgive me for what I did?
Okay, the last one is called genuinely repent, and it's essentially when someone feels extreme regret or remorse about their wrongdoing and actively voice that. For background, all the questions are like, if you are in this scenario, the person who screwed up should apologize XYZ. So it's not necessarily how I would apologize, but how you would like the other person to.
If, let's say, Sharon, you messed up in a scenario between us two, how should you apologize to me?
Okay, so in that aspect, we're guessing how Vicky would like to be apologized to. And so I would think that her top is accepting responsibility.
What's genuine repent again?
Repent.
Repent.
It means like you want to express change.
Oh, I feel like it's either accept responsibility or genuinely repent.
It's accepting responsibility is my first. Do we want to guess last?
Make restitution.
Expressing regret.
It's request forgiveness.
Wait, can you tell us your percentages?
Yeah, my first one is accept responsibility, which is 40%, and then expressing regret is 30%, genuinely repent is 20%, make restitution is 10%, and then request forgiveness is 0%.
Interesting.
So basically, if I were to fuck up, you don't care if I'm like, Vicky, please forgive me. Like, please accept my apology.
Yeah, forgiveness for me, you can't ask for it. Like, that's up to me to give it.
Let's guess Jam next.
I want to say your first one is expressing regret.
I'm gonna say it's between making restitution and accepting responsibility.
Well, Sharon got my top 2. The first one was accept responsibility at 40%. The second one was make restitution at 25%. Third was genuinely repent at 20%. And fourth was request forgiveness at 10%. And the last one's expressing regret at 5%.
Oh, damn.
Wow, I got your last one. Expressing regret is your last. So you don't care if people regret it. They're just like, fuck you.
No, because I'm just like, oh, okay, so you express your regret, so what?
What's done is done.
Yeah.
All right, Sharon. I feel like you're the same as me. Your first would be accept responsibility.
Yeah, I think that's Sharon's too.
And then her last, genuinely repent.
I feel her last one is expressing regret.
So my first one is accept responsibility 40%, make restitution 30%, expressing regret 20%, genuinely repent 10%, and request forgiveness 0%. I'm exactly the same as Vicky. Like, I don't want to be asked, can you forgive me? That's just up to me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then should we go through some of these questions and see how we answered?
The very first question, I'm curious. So the question it asks, your spouse failed to acknowledge your wedding anniversary. If you're not married, assume that you are. What should they say to you? A, I can't believe I forgot you and our marriage are so important to me. I am so sorry. B, there is no excuse for me forgetting. What was I thinking? C, what can I do to prove my love for you? D, you can bet I won't forget next year. I'm going to circle the date on my calendar. And then E, I know you are hurt, but can you ever forgive me? What did you guys answer?
I put A, I can't believe I forgot you and our marriage are so important to me. I'm so sorry.
D, you can bet I won't forget next year. I'm going to circle the date on my calendar.
Okay, the thing is, I answer these questions in a way where I'm like, if I was the person who needs to apologize, how will I apologize? Because I feel like that's the same way I want accepted. So I put myself in that scenario and I put, you can bet I won't forget next year.
Yeah, I feel like I chose that answer because it was more playful. And I feel like if you forget the wedding anniversary, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I probably didn't remember anyways.
Yeah, I was thinking about the early, like the beginning stages of a marriage, and I feel like I would be more upset. Would I care about wedding anniversaries?
I feel like this is why Sharon is better suited for a relationship, because I think to people, these are important things, you know?
I mean, I think they're important things, but let's just say you're 16 years into your marriage. I'm not gonna be, oh my god, you forgot our 16th wedding anniversary.
No. At the same time, Jamila, I have to say this because it'll put things into perspective, okay? If you married the love of your life, Mark Twain, okay? You're gonna be in love with this man for the rest of your life, and I'm assuming every single year you'll kind of want to commemorate, because you said in a TikTok or in a previous video, the best day of your life will be if and when you get married to Mark Twain. So therefore, you think it wouldn't?
Okay, yes, but at the same time, I feel like because if this is the love of my life, every day would be just as good or just as sweet. I don't need a special day to like commemorate that special memory, because I feel like, oh, all of our other days is fine.
That is the cheesiest thing Jam has ever said. So I'm kind of shook right now. But yes.
That was cheesy.
Yeah, like oh my god, every day of our lives will be so special. Like, damn, Jamila, okay?
Wait, did I really say that? I didn't realize
Wow,
I said those
I'm proud.
exact words.
You know what's crazy is people who celebrate engagement day and then wedding day.
I feel like, let's just say for Sharon, I don't think she will be like, oh my god, we have to celebrate it. But if the significant other remember like their engagement day or like did something for it, I feel like she would appreciate it. Or me and Vicky could be like, oh, engagement could be skipped.
I feel like it's not that we don't care for it. It's probably we're the ones forgetting it. And that's why we're more forgiving about it.
How about we find out once we're married?
I really hope, if I'm being honest, that I marry someone who makes me not want to forget that date.
I think it also depends on the other person. If the other person is the type to want to celebrate it, I feel like I'll be more like, okay, I'll remember it. But then if the other person is also a little bit like, I'm whatever about it, then I'm less inclined to remember it. That's the word, inclined.
If it's important to you, I'll make it a priority.
Yeah.
But it's not important to me.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
All right, next question.
Next one is about our mothers. Your mother knew how you felt about a matter and knowingly went against your wishes. She should say, A, if I had only thought about what I was doing, I would have realized it was wrong. B, what can I do to regain your respect? C, I won't take your feelings for granted in the future. D, will you please give me another chance? E, I knew how you felt but went against your wishes anyway. I wish I had not done that.
You know, this question was so hard.
Me too.
So hard to answer, because since when do parents apologize? I couldn't even imagine these words coming out of my mother.
I was like, can you not apologize and just move on? Like, I don't want an apology
I
at
don't
all.
need it. Tell me you have Asian parents without telling me you have Asian parents.
This.
But I put C, I won't take your feelings for granted in the future.
My accepting responsibilities kicked in, and I said, if I had only thought about what I was doing, I would have realized it was wrong.
I put, I knew how you felt but went against your wishes anyway. I wish I had not done that. Next question is, you were in a crisis and needed help, but your friend ignored your need. He or she should say, A, saying I'm sorry doesn't feel like it's enough. What more can I do to mend our friendship? B, I realize now that I could have been more helpful to you, and I promise I'll do everything to help if you're ever in trouble again. C, I'm sincerely sorry and ask you to forgive me. D, I should have been there for you. I'm so sorry I let you down. E, I let you down when you needed me the most. I made a terrible mistake.
I said D. I should have been there for you. I'm so sorry I let you down.
I put E. I let you down when you need me the most. I made a terrible mistake.
I feel like I would never say, oh, I let you down. That kind of feels weird.
Oh.
And that's why I went with D. I should have been there for you. I'm so sorry.
Wait, I'm so sorry I let you down. Bitch is contradicted herself.
But like I should have been there for you, I feel like that sounded easier.
I feel like I'll be a combination of I should have been there for you, I made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, this quiz is hard because I feel like we just don't need an apology from someone. We need to get over it and then deal with it.
I think it's because these scenarios aren't that relevant to us.
I feel like it has to be pretty major for us to need an apology. Your spouse lashed out in anger against you when you had done no apparent wrong. He or she should say, A, I'm truly sorry for yelling at you. I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me. B, I wish I had not hurt you by yelling at you. I feel so bad for how I treated you. C, I was angry, but I had no right to speak to you that way. You did not deserve that. D, what can I do or say to make things right between you and me? And E, I'm afraid that I'll do this again and I don't want to. Help me think of ways to avoid blowing up like this in the future.
I answered C. I was angry, but had no right to speak to you that way. You didn't deserve it.
I answered the same.
I think I did the same too.
Like the lash out in anger gives me like, you have no control over yourself.
Once you get to a certain age, you should be held responsibility for your actions. And if you're going to come to me to ask, like, how can you avoid blowing up like this? Like, I don't know, fam. I don't know about that one.
I mean, I guess in a perspective, people could see it as like, oh, this person is willing to change or grow.
Next question. You were trying to tell your friend something important and he or she acted disinterested. They should say, 1, I messed up this time, but in the future, I promise to give you my full attention when you have something important to tell me. 2, I'm sorry I wasn't listening. You don't have to forgive me, but I hope you will. Ew. Sorry. 3, I feel really bad that I didn't listen to what you were saying. I know how it feels to have something important to say and I regret that I didn't listen to you. 4, listening is such an important part of a strong relationship, but once again, I blew it. You needed me to hear you and I basically just ignored your need. 5, can we back up and try again? You talk and I'll listen. You'll have my undivided attention. Wow, all of these just piss me off.
I put E. Can we back up and try again? I'll listen, you'll talk, and you have my undivided attention.
Oh, really? Dude, that would piss me off. Like, oh, now I'm paying attention. Can we back up and try this again? I'll be like, I'm not telling you that twice. Bye. No. Sorry, Jenna.
Given that all of these piss Sharon off, that's fine.
No, I think I'm trying to put things into perspective of like, it's not a casual conversation. It's kind of serious. And this happened, which it wouldn't, I don't think, ever. But in the case that it did, I'm like, yo, I'm not repeating myself again. If it's like, oh, I pay attention now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The question does say something important.
Oh.
So, like, yeah, I said C. I feel really bad that I didn't listen to what you were saying. I know how it feels to have something important to say, and I regret that I didn't listen to you.
I think I put D. Listening is very important. I blew it.
Next question. Although you had expressed your annoyance with a particular habit many times before, your spouse continue exhibiting the behavior to spite you. He or she should say, A, I've taken this too far. I'm very sorry for not being more considerate of your wishes. I wouldn't like it if you did that to me. B, okay, I admit it. I'm annoying you on purpose, and that's neither funny nor fair. I need to act more mature than that. C, saying I'm sorry won't take back the fact that I've knowingly tried to annoy you. What more can I do to win back your favor? D, I have gotten into the habit of disregarding your wishes, and I don't want to go on doing that. From now on, I am going to take extra effort to honor your wishes. E, I've tried your patience, and now I'm asking you to forgive me. Will you allow me a fresh start in honoring your request?
I chose B. Okay, I admit it. I'm annoying you on purpose.
I chose B too.
I put A because of the I wouldn't like it if you did that to me. It's like acknowledging your place.
I think I need to act more mature than that. I'd be like, yeah, you do. Next question. Your neighbor asked you to wait on him or her outside the arena, but he or she never showed up for the concert. He or she should say, A, our friendship really is important, and I hope you won't forgive up on me. My name is Vicky. I'm 23 and I don't know how to read.
Where did the 4 come from, Vicky?
I don't know. Literally, I'm telling you, my kids are making me more dumb, I swear. A, our friendship really is important and I hope you won't give up on me. Will you forgive me for standing you up? B, I'm so sorry you had to stand there waiting on me. You are important to me, and I should have honored you and your time by being there when I said I would be. C, you stood there waiting on me, thinking I would show up at any moment, and I let you down. If I had only managed my time differently, I would have been there. That is totally my fault. D, let's go to another concert, and this time I'm paying for your ticket as a way of apologizing for standing you up last time. And E, in the future, I will manage my time and prioritize my schedule so that I tend to our friendship like I should.
Why am I going to a concert with my neighbor? That's the question.
I was just about to say, like, of all people, they chose neighbor.
I said D. Let's go to a concert, and this time I'm paying for your ticket.
Me too.
Think I chose B.
I noticed in questions that like you're being screwed over in the aspect of losing money or time or something that's not just like, oh, I'm sorry I wasn't listening to you, because I feel like if I fucked up in that situation, I would feel so bad that I would want to pay you back essentially for whether those lost costs or lost time. So that's why in these scenarios I answered a lot of like, oh, let me make it up to you.
Agreed. That was my thought process too.
Do you guys apologize well? Or do you have issues apologizing?
2 times that I've apologized, it was something that was like, oh, I fucked up really bad. So I was obviously a lot more serious in my apology. So I have no issue apologizing when I need to.
When you know you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like what Jam said earlier about I apologize in the way I would want to be apologized to. So when things intense kind of happen, I will take responsibility and actively voice out like what I did wrong and then see where they're coming from. So I don't think it's hard for me to apologize. It's just we're not ever in those crazy situations. Why are you not good at apologizing, Vicky?
When I know that I'm completely in the wrong, I don't have an issue. But if it's like we kind of both like messed up and someone needs to step up to the plate to like start the conversation, then I have a harder time because I'm like, why me? Like, I don't want to be the bigger person, even though I know that we both are kind of in the wrong and we need to apologize for it. With family, cannot. I am very, very bad with family.
Yeah. Do you guys ever apologize just to apologize? Like, for example, in a relationship, you know you're not in the wrong, but your like significant other is just like mad, and then you're just like, okay, I'm sick of this shit, so I'm just gonna apologize to apologize.
I'm a Taurus. I'm too stubborn.
Sure. That's a perfectly good explanation to why.
I feel like it's because I have too much pride. Like, why should I be the bigger person and apologize for something that you did wrong?
I won't apologize if it's not my fault. But I'll bring up the conversation so that we could talk about it so that they can stop being petty and expecting me to apologize when I don't need to apologize.
So I have done it before, but that was when I was like, 18, 19? So I like to think that I'm a lot better now, or I wouldn't do that.
Are you guys good at accepting apology?
Yes and no. If you do it, I won't be like, ew, like, why are you doing that? I'd be like, oh, okay, thank you for the apology. In my mind, I'm thinking about my most recent apology that I've gotten, and I really appreciated that they did that. So I'm like, okay, I needed to hear that you actually knew you were in the wrong. And so thinking about that situation, I'm like, okay, yes, I can accept it and I sometimes need it. But there are times where I'm like, no, I don't care for your apology because it's my own thing that I have to deal with. Don't ask for forgiveness. I need to give it to you.
For me, it depends. If it's in a situation where you've crossed my line and you apologize, I probably won't accept it because like the line is crossed. In general, if you apologize, I think I'll accept it. I think I would just be honestly kind of awkward about it. Like, thanks.
Okay, but then are there situations where you're kind of you are expecting an apology? So if it doesn't happen, do you just kind of remember it? Because I think I would be that person where if I'm kind of expecting an apology, where if I was in their position, I would apologize and they don't. And I feel like that would be a big red flag.
Off the top of my mind, I can't think of a situation where that has happened. But I guess if like I was expecting an apology and I didn't get it, I'll be pretty salty. Like, why aren't you apologizing? You should apologize for it, kind of thing.
Would you bring it up to that person?
No,
because that's just forcing an apology out of them.
Let's say someone did something wrong and they don't realize it. Do you think as a person you would want to tell them, oh, this is what you did wrong? And it's not even about the matter of, oh, I want an apology. It's the fact that like next time be smart about it because you're ignorant right now. Or would you just let it slide and you're just like, you're old enough to know and you gotta do your own thing?
I feel like I'm be like you're old enough to know that you should apologize for these things, or you should not be doing these things. But I do understand some people may need the guidance, but I think I'm just not the type of person to point it out for them.
I wouldn't point it out to that person who needs to apologize to me. I'll just be like, oh, so you're that kind of person. Gotcha. Mental note. But then if it's like someone I'm friends with comes up to me and is like, should I apologize to this person? Then I'll bring it up to them like, yes, you should.
Oh, it has to be an ABC situation and not just you and them.
Last question from me. How do you guys feel about the I'm sorry, what can I do to make it better? Like your SO, for example. I'm sorry I made you feel this way. What can I do to make it better?
It depends on how much I love this person. If I truly care for you, then I would point out like, this is what you can do, because that means I'm investing into the relationship of like, okay, if this happens again, like you should know better because we talked about this. But if I don't care about you, then I'd be like, it's fine, and move on, and you have to figure it out on your own. It takes time and energy to like point out someone's flaws or like what you can work on and then work through it with them.
Would that be making restitution? Like, what can I do to make it better?
Yes.
I feel like it.
See, you know how that's different from like, oh, I missed the concert, let me buy the ticket back for you? It's like the same category but different scenarios. I feel like for the what can I do to make it better would low-key piss me off because it's putting the responsibility on me. Like they're not taking responsibility. They're like, let me just say the right thing and see what they want. But I know in other situations, people would appreciate being asked. So that was a little quiz on how we like to give and receive apologies. Hope you learned a little bit about yourself or us. We'll link the quiz below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.